Hey, long time no see or speak, or I'm talking to a camera, so it doesn't really matter. It's been, what, maybe 2 weeks since my last video, and even though not that much has happened, only seemed right to make a video just to share what I've been up to. So, last time I was in Uvita in Costa Rica, I decided, all right, let's go to Nicaragua. And then I was like, I'm not sure if that's the right thing or not. So I'm like, let's just go to the bus station and take the next bus and see where I end up. Ironically enough, the original plan when I wanted to go to Nicaragua is go back to San Jose, and from there I can take a bus to Nicaragua. And when I went to the bus station, the next bus was to San Jose. So the plan ended up being the exact original plan that I had. So I'm like, all right, I guess that's what I'm meant to do. However, turns out that there was a storm moving up the coast going towards Nicaragua, just in the exact spot where I would be passing when I took the bus. And even though it probably wouldn't have been that dangerous, there was a chance that, roads would be blocked or things like that. So I'm like, I don't necessarily want to risk it. So let's just, stay in San Jose a day or two, wait for it to pass, and then move on. During that time, I'm like, well, I'm here, I have nothing to do, so swiped on Tinder, got a match, ended up having a date for the next day. So I'm like, I guess I'll stay longer then. And eventually I realized, like, okay, if I move on to another country now, I'm gonna feel like I didn't really enjoy it. Just because the previous month I was just chilling on the beach in a hammock, kind of relaxing after being in the city in Bogota for a month. So I'm like, all right, enjoying the country. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't really get to experience Costa Rica. Like, I experienced the beach, I enjoyed it. I did that walking challenge and almost, killed myself. But I'm like, I didn't really experience the country that much. And even though that sounds very superficial, it seems like so far my way to experience the country has been dating. And it's weird, like, it really doesn't matter, but it's like there's kind of like this metric in the back of my head of like, well, the country doesn't really count if I don't have sex with a girl from that country. Like, it's not really a rule that I came up with, it's just kind of something that happened. And I realized, like, all right, if I don't stay for a while and, date, maybe explore the country, whatever it is, like, I just feel like I didn't fully experience this country yet. And I didn't want to regret it. So I'm like, all right, let's just rent an apartment here in San Jose for a month, stay here, focus on the business, maybe go on some dates and, see what happens. Ironically enough, renting this apartment is the most I've ever paid for an apartment. Like, it's more than the apartment I had back in Montreal, in downtown Montreal. It's $975 for a month. Like, yes, okay, it's Airbnb, so everything's fully furnished and they come like once a week to clean and stuff, but still, like, 975 bucks is a lot. And I almost didn't do it, but I'm like, I'm gonna regret if I don't do it. Plus, one of my main reasons for staying here is to like have that place to myself so I can really focus on the business. So, all right, as long as we make $1,000 from the business, then the apartment is repaid. Plus, if I want to date, like, it's nice to have your own apartment. I mean, I've never tried dating when I was staying in hostels, but I feel like that would be very awkward and kind of difficult to pull off. So yeah, I've been here for the last 4 days, I think. And yeah, so far I've been working on the business. Went on one date. I have another one on Tuesday. And ironically enough, like, it seems like dating here isn't as easy as it was in Guatemala and Colombia. Not that it matters. It's not really why I stayed here, but it's one of the reasons. But anyway, that's beside the point. And it was funny, like, the first day I moved in, like, the internet, or the password for the internet wasn't working, so I had to contact the guy. Then the light in the kitchen wasn't working, and the stove wasn't working. And I'm just like, all right, I'm paying a crap ton of money. There's a bunch of stuff not working. Dating is going like crap. Like, why did I decide to stay here? Like, since then, it's gotten better. And the business is moving forward. Like, it's really cool to be able to work on a business with someone else because then there's that back and forth and we can really progress very quickly. Whereas when you're working by yourself, you're kind of like stuck in your own little bubble and it's hard to get feedback and move forward and start getting results. Whereas if you're two people, you can quickly go through things and figure out like, all right, if you're like so focused on something, the other person's like, no, no, you're wasting your time. Let's focus on this. You're like, yeah, okay, you're right. Whereas if you're by yourself, you can't really do that. Which reminds me, I don't think I ever mentioned that the other business that I started back in Colombia, the whole network, no, affiliate marketing thing with the newsletter and everything, it's like I quickly realized that having to write an email every day is not something that I want to do in the long term. Plus, I only made two sales, but it's like $7 sales. So definitely not worth all the time and energy and money that I invested into it. So I got some refunds for some courses and stuff like that that I could. And, it still ended up costing me a lot of money. And I don't regret it because it got me back into online businesses. And now the business that I'm doing with my friend, like, I'm really excited. It's really cool. We're moving forward. We're starting to do market research and get feedback and get testimonials and everything. So it's like, this is really fun. This is really exciting. So I don't regret wasting all that time, energy, and money on the other business to get to this point, even though it's kind of frustrating. It's like, I don't know exactly how much I spent, but let's say it's $5,000. It's like, well, if I didn't do that, I'd have $5,000 more right now, so I can keep, living and paying for food and stuff like that. By the way, food is really expensive in Costa Rica. Like as expensive, if not more expensive than back in Canada, which is very surprising. So yeah, it turns out so far it's costing me probably the same amount or more to live here than if I was back in Canada. So it's not really advantageous for me to stay here. So I mean, I haven't decided anything officially, but I'm thinking, all right, after this month is over, move on to a cheaper country just because yeah, this is expensive. And I mean, even though it's funny because money seems to always come in and I never seem to run out, which is great, but I'm like, eventually my luck might run out. So, let's not poke the bear. But I'm focusing on the business. We're trying to build that out as quickly and effectively as possible. So, as long as all goes well, we're going to start generating money within the next few months. So, it shouldn't be an issue, but still, it kind of like hurts inside because I'm like, I'm in Central America. It should be cheap to live here compared to Canada at least, and it's costing me the same or more money. And it's kind of like, considering the fact that I sold everything and I don't have a job and my budget is very limited, it's like painful to have to spend all that amount of money. But at the same time, it's good because it helps me overcome my limitations when it comes to money. So let's see. I think that's about it. I don't really think there's anything more that's new. So just pretty much enjoying life, working on the business, building out the funnel, learning a bunch of new things, talking with my friend and building out the business, and that's pretty much it. So don't have much else to say aside from I'm really glad that my walking challenge is over because I still I got three blisters. Two of them were kind of like reabsorbed, and one of them like the skin just got detached. So in fact, I think yesterday I removed the skin. So it's like I can still feel it, even though it was what like 2 weeks ago. So I'm really glad that it's over. I don't regret doing it at all, but I'm just happy that I've moved on to something else. All right, I think that's it. There's someone walking by my door, so I'm distracted. So now seems like a good time to end the video.